Hi, my name is Bakery. This video is about how to save Heroes of the Storm Esports and my plan to do it. So, let's get straight into it. The first point we have to address when we look at this issue is why do we need to save it? And as you can see on your screen, I have set out some stats here. So, 2019 has not been a successful year for Heroes of the Storm Esports. In 2018, there was a prize pool across Europe and North America of around $2.5 million. Um, there was a peak viewership of 265,000 people, and there was an average viewership of 36,000 tuning in on the HCC Europe broadcast in part one of 2018. Um, when we move on and we look at the stats from 2019, we see a catastrophic drop off in those numbers. The prize pool available so far this year is looking to be around 60,000 in total. The peak viewership has never really exceeded 2,000, and the average viewership is under 1,000 on almost all events, including the top ones. This is not a successful esport. This is not a sustainable esport. Most of this prize money is coming from crowdfunding, and none of it is coming from sponsors. So for 2020, I want to turn things around. And step one of my plan to do so is forming what's called the Heroes Esports Committee. This is a single unified body that is going to include members from all over the industry. It's going to include Heroes Hype, Heroes Hearth, Blizzard, Heroes Lounge. It's going to get everyone into one room together and on one board. And the point of this entire committee is to build a top to bottom esports system for Heroes of the Storm that combines all of the different leagues. It puts everything in a single destination and a single place for fans to watch. And eventually, if possible, is going to build a professional league for Heroes of the Storm. Now, notice I say professional. That does mean professional, as in this is a career, a legitimate way to make a living from Heroes of the Storm. That doesn't mean a full living. That doesn't mean they can't do anything else outside of it, as I'll go into later. But that is the goal of this movement. And so let's jump into a bit more of the specifics of my plan to provide a professional league in 2020. So, the first thing to note is that this is North America and Europe only. I am not looking at other regions. The reason for that is that North America and Europe can be handled simultaneously. You can have similar sponsors. You can have the same people running it because the time zones are close enough. If you expand to any other region outside of that, then the time zones don't line up, the languages don't line up, and it just becomes too difficult to run those leagues. There are 4 teams per region. The reason for this is that we simply do not have the resources or the viewership to support more than 4 professional teams. This can grow over time, but I'm afraid for now that is the best we can do. This is also 6 months of competition because we do not have the resources to put on a full year, and that is the sad reality we have to face. In terms of budget, for this entire project, we need around $220,000. Anything in excess will obviously be in profit, and that will go directly back into the league, either the staff or the players, the prize pool, some other thing like that. In short, there is $160,000 allocated for prize pool, and this is $80,000 for Europe and $80,000 for North America. We need $30,000 for the production budget. $20,000 of this is going to casters, $10,000 each, and $10,000 is going to an observer/admin. We need $10K for staff. This covers the commissioner who runs the league. It covers the admin staff. It covers the marketing and the social media coverage and the graphic design and everything that goes into producing this league. We then have a 10K buffer. There is an opportunity for costs to run over whenever you run any project, especially one of this scale. and we need that buffer. If we end up not having to use it, obviously, as I said, it'll go back into the league. The reason you need to run a league like this is because sponsors are not interested in projects that don't make money. If it doesn't make money, it's not a business, and they want to deal with businesses. That's what sponsors are. They make money. We need the league to be run like a business too, and that is why it is laid out this way. So in terms of the format, how I plan to make this happen, the first thing is a preseason event that I'm targeting for January 2020. This is a 10k prize pool. It's 4 teams. It has a best of 2 double round robin group stage and single limb playoffs. This is run over 2 weekends, and this is essentially a taster of what we need to make this league happen. Effectively, we won't need too much money. We just need the prize pool to get this up and running. Obviously, this is the proof of concept. We need to make sure this has a lot of viewers, and if this is successful, we can continue with the league. On that note, league play is done a bit differently in my proposed league, and I'll explain the reasons for that. So we have 3 separate series. They each have a unique name, they have unique branding, and they are played out just like HGC parts were in the past. The other thing to note is that there is a 3-hour team practice embargo. Now what this means is that teams will be banned from practicing more than 3 hours per day and more than 5 days per week. And the reason for this is because we need to create an environment where these players are free to have jobs outside of their professional career in Heroes of the Storm. Now, for a lot of these players, this job will probably be content creation. They'll be streaming, they'll be making YouTube videos, they'll be making funny jokes on Twitter. For others, it will be a legitimate job, and for others, it will be school. The reality is that we cannot provide a long-term living for these players, and it's irresponsible to expect them to do this actually full-time. So this is very much a part-time endeavor. They will make money. They will make good money for the amount of time that is dedicated, in my opinion. But this is not a full-time thing. As we move on down, we see that our first series is called Nexus Fever. Now, Nexus Fever is an entire tournament. It lasts for 5 weeks, and there's 1 to 2 weeks allocated for playoffs. Broadcast Saturdays and Sundays, and the tournament is based entirely on ARAMs, 1v1s, 2v2s. It's a crazy mashup of everything that makes the Nexus great. Now, you might be saying this is a competitive league. Why on earth are we doing these crazy formats? And the reason for this is that HGC was too narrow of a scope to capture what Heroes is. Heroes is a celebration of Blizzard. It's crazy, it's wacky, it's fun. That is what Heroes of the Storm is. A huge subset of the Heroes of the Storm audience loves that aspect of the game. And HGC, although they'd love to support it, is not catering and was not catering to those desires and what they wanted to see. And this is what Nexus Fever is. It is specifically widening our audience. It's a whole bunch of fun. It's going to be great to watch the best players in the world play ARAM. It's going to be great to see these really intense 1v1s and 2v2s and stuff like that. Now, that is running for 6 weeks, most likely, possibly 7 weeks, depending on how the format works out. And there's 10k prize pool allocated to it. We'll then have a small break, and we move into Straight Edge. And Straight Edge is the most competitive format possible. We spare no expense and no amount of effort creating the best format we can for the best players in the world to compete on a completely even playing field. This has a 20k prize pool per region. Again, it's 5 weeks of play, 1 to 2 weeks for playoffs, and then there's a small break again. We then run into Wild Series. And this is the third and final stage of regular league play in Europe and North America. And this is all about forced drafting. So this is about saying, you have to draft 5 assassins, maybe 5 melee assassins. Maybe you don't get to play a support. And all kinds of crazy permutations like that. We'll have themed weeks, the teams will play each other. And again, this is 5 weeks of play, 1 to 2 weeks for playoffs. And this is 10k prize pool. Now, this cycle, that regular league play, will probably run from February to July. And as we move into August, we're going to set up what we call the championship. Now, this is the crowning moment of the year of competitive heroes. It has a 30k prize pool per region. It's the same 4 teams, but it features so much more. This is a celebration of Heroes of the Storm, esports or otherwise. We're going to feature streamer show matches. We're going to try and get iconic rematches. We're going to have the amateur finals played in the same event. And of course, it will feature playoffs for the league. Again, we plan a best of 2 double round robin group stage and double elimination playoffs. Best of 7s most likely coming out. And this is my overview for the league. You might have noticed 80,000 per region and only 4 teams means that each team is getting about $20,000 on average. That means each player for 6 months of work, which is part-time, will be guaranteed around $4,000 for competing. That's not life-changing, but this is meaningful money, and this is a professional league. Now, the only way we can do this is if everyone comes together and we have it on the same channels and we sell this to sponsors and we do it as one. We fill the void that HCC left, we make it better, and we create a successful and sustainable Heroes Esports scene for 2020 and beyond. So, in terms of next steps, January is a long time away. We have a long time to get there. But we need to work hard to make sure that we can. So I'm going to be working on this plan. I'm going to be talking to more and more people and wrapping more people in. The first step is forming the Heroes Esports committee that I detail in this section. If anyone watching this video wants to be included in this committee and suggest ideas, and be involved in this conversation to try and get everyone on the same page, then please reach out to me. My DMs are open on Twitter, and my email is bakery@diggingtoss.gg, which is in the description below. This is about saving Heroes Esports, so let's make it happen. Thanks, guys.